some noise. Goodness, welcome to Strut. My name is Baruch, and I am the Community Events Manager here at Strut. If you don't know who we are a sexual health clinic for the queer community. We are part of the San Francisco AIDS Foundation. We've been around since, well, the clinic's been around since 2003. AIDS Foundation's been around since 1981. They've been doing this for a while, and we love events like this. I am so happy that we get to hang out with Litquick and Foglifter every year. Please give Litquick and Foglifter a nice big round of applause. Part of my job is also to remind you of our house rules. Please take out your cell phones and turn the noisy part of your cell phone all the way off. You don't want to be that queer whose phone goes off during a very intimate and quiet poem. That's usually when it happens. Your emergency exit is the way you came in down the stairs. There's another emergency exit down the hall past the bathrooms to your left. There's also, that's where the bathrooms are. There's no code, they're unlocked. If it's locked, someone's in there. If you aren't in there, lock the door behind you unless you want a weird surprise. So just to remind you that we are open Tuesdays through Saturdays. We do everything from HIV testing, STI testing, all sorts of sexual health navigation things, not just HIV and STI related. We have trans staff that help answer your questions if you're a trans person or questioning with our 2 trans life programs. We have a program for queers over 50 called 50 Plus. We have a harm reduction program and several other things. We also get PEP, PrEP, Doxy now. There's a spray we spray you down with. I'm kidding. We're working on it. And one of these days, you'll just do like, shh, and just like dive into full song. Yeah, I wish. But we work really hard to serve our community. We have all these other programs that we do, and I would take all night to talk about it. But if you're curious about how to come to one of these cool RT events, just follow us on Instagram, strut_SF. You can find out all of our cool, colorful events. If it looks like a fun event, I'm probably helping organize it. What else? Really important, October 13th, we are celebrating the work of Bear Path. He is an artist that only paints beautiful, big, chubby queers. And for Halloween, he's painted a whole bunch of naked queer monsters. So we are going to have his art show on the 2nd floor. And on October 13th, you can come here and party with us and drink free wine, free snacks, and celebrate queer art from 8 to 10, October 13th. All right, I told you the emergency exit. I told you what we do. Also, we have a queer open mic every 3rd Tuesday. If you're a writer yourself and you want to come, practice your poetry, your spoken word, or just read us something from your chapter for 5 minutes, please come October 17th, that's the 3rd Tuesday of this month, for our queer open mic. Structure reminds you to call it Squam. So come squam with us. We're also having a Halloween costume contest. The winner gets either wine or a gift card. All right, I'm going to shut up because we're here to celebrate queer literature and Foglifter's fall issue launch. I'm going to bring up someone from Litquick. Please give it up for Graham.
They are out there, though. In a local bookstore, you can find one. A few quick orders of business before we get started. Obviously, you probably saw the survey or you sat straight on it. These are really, really important for our fundraising efforts to basically use the information that we get here all year long to fund next year's festival. So please fill this out. I actually have a little trick and treat bag where you place it and the photos on the steps. Gives me my pencils back too. We have 2 more weeks of this I also want to thank our media sponsors, San Francisco Chronicle, 7x7, K2ED, Bay Area Reporter, SF First Country, and John Punchy. I want to thank Baruch and Strutt again for having us. We've been having Foglifters in the festival at Strutt, I think since the beginning of Foglifter. I think we started in 2017 or something like that, and we are so happy to have us on the last 4 years. Now, without further ado, let's give it up for our MCs for tonight, Foglifters co-founder Chad Cook and Foglifter editor-in-chief.
Hello, is this on? Yes. Yes, no. A little bit.
This is for sure on.
Hello, beautiful people. It's better. I hear myself. All right. That's what's up. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Foglifter's 8.2 issue launch. My name is MJ. I use he and him, and they and them pronouns, and I am Foglifter's editor-in-chief.
And I'm Chad Cook. I use he, him pronouns. I'm the co-founder of Foglifter, and we are finishing out our 8th year as a journal and press.
A little of logistics for those of you who are still standing. We have lovely seats, and it's the best view of the house. If you would like to come and join us, feel free. You may also stand if you're more comfortable. Just saying, we don't bite unless you like it. So thank you all so much for coming. It's so beautiful to see you. Thank you for coming to Strutt. Thank you to Strutt for hosting us forever. We love y'all for hosting us as you always do. Thanks to Baruch for always going out of the way to make the event happen. I know there was some scrambling, so thank you so much. And thank you to Liquid as well, who's made our October release so special.
And just one quick note that Bruce told me, and I've now remembered. If on the left side, if you are leaning against the wall, we just ask you either take a step away, or if you need to lean somewhere, you can lean up by this glass. It's just something the Strutt would ask us to do. So before we begin, some additional news. As many of you already know, we have, due to printing delays, our books for tonight's issue are not with us this evening. But we do have a small package of goodies, as some of you have already seen. So if you do order 8.2, you will get those goodies, and you'll get free shipping when it arrives. We're sorry to our contributors and to all of you for this inconvenience. We also did want to mention our thank yous. I think you already did thank everybody, but yeah, thanks Baruch, thanks Liquake, and thanks to our ASL interpreters.
Thank you. Just a quick note, please stay quiet during the reading so that our ASL interpreters can do their job as easily as possible. But feel free to cheer extra louder between each reader. Sound good? Awesome. Alright, so if this is your first time hearing of Foglifter or attending an event, we are a biannual journal of today's most dynamic, urgent, and delightful queer and trans writing. We're a space where LGBTQIA2SN+++ writers celebrate, mourn, rage, and embrace. We've also published some really, really incredible writers, some of whom you will get to hear from tonight. I'm so excited to be celebrating this new issue and all of our readers. If you're also a queer trans writer or poet, I have good news. There's a couple of ways that you can become involved in Foglifter, including submitting to the journal, right? So send us your finest work until November 1st, and then we close for that submission window. So send us along as soon as this reading ends.
It would also be awesome if you could take a minute to fill out the surveys. You will probably hear the word survey 3 or 4 more times tonight. If you fill that out, it. That's just not what we're doing and how we can better serve you as a community. All right, I think you're doing the introduction.
Okay. Are y'all ready to get into some poetry, some writing, some literature? I guess we can do that for y'all. Alright, so I'm excited to begin introducing the fabulous and talented contributors to this issue. First up, I'm happy to introduce Eli Shaw. Eli Shaw is a queer trans poet currently based in Tucson, Arizona. His work has appeared previously in Longleaf Review, Rust and Moth, Vagabond City Lit, and is forthcoming in Ghost City Review. When not writing, he works in conservation. Awesome. Please help me welcome Eli.
Hello, can you all hear me? Cool. Okay, so I'm going to jump in with the poem that's in this next issue of Foglifter. And it's about what happens after you get top surgery a little bit. It's also other things, but yeah. So here's Sometimes Pretty's Gotta Die. Instead of pretty, let's say the 5 tongues of a periwinkle flower still jaw together. And instead of sometimes, let's point out the periwinkle's roots, grubbing out everything that has made a home in a field. I'll say gotta like it's my job, which it was, to rid this place of its invader, which inevitably leads to thinking about men's tongues and men's jaws on my nipples, which are not so much nipples as they are ornamental chest flowers, which makes those men pollinators of sorts, bees plumping in frenzy from the things we've planted just to look at and smile. And let's say die in the way my friends spoke of their friend's uterus outside the body, as if even the bloody deserves the lip, the marbling, the soft tip of a tongue on my scars, which I can almost sort of feel, which sets the clock of my body springing forward, if only to let the pretty die a little slower. And then this next piece, he texts me. The blockfish is a deep sea fish, and when you bring it up, it loses its structure. Lover, we're as beautiful as the aphotic. The first time my lips fell into you, it sounded like viperfish. When we're together, it's downright bathopelagic. You tuck your hand around mine, and I'm 1,000 meters deep, the shed detritus of a sun-baked world. I'm the dandruff of the sea. You call it marine snow for the sake of accuracy and some lovely thing you see in me. Lover, let's stay down here. Don't tell anyone about the plane ticket you bought to come visit. Just disappear and chalk it up to 95% of the ocean unexplored. Lover, the plotting of National Geographic terrifies me. All their cameras and sensors. What would they make of the benthic bed we shared? Some submarine's mechanical arm peeling back your family's quilt to find that part of myself I left sleeping beside you, snapping off the barnacles that grew from our unflinching touches. Lover, I don't think that these feelings will hold up under the rigor of scientific examination. Promise me that doesn't matter. Bristle mouth on your tongue. Cookie cutter shark. Eel pouch. When they pulled the first blobfish out of the ocean, do you think we were there in its folds? I Google image after image of that bleeding and precious mouth. 2 eyes, punctures into this light-filled landscape, looking right at me, looking right at you, a whole private ocean welling up in my stomach. And then the last piece I'll read tonight. I don't know much about grief, but I know if they press the boyhoods we never got between the pages of a dictionary, they'd dry white oleander, sweet and murderous. We'd carry that book around like dead weight, pull it out every time we got the chance, cracking the spine like a maid promise at the coffee shop, the park, the karaoke night where we'd sing Hey Mickey in our cheerleading skirts for the sake of gender fuck. We'd get so good at pretending the poison doesn't scare us when it punches. We'd say it doesn't even burn going down. We'd chew and swallow and go out in a blaze that bears uncanny resemblance to the Sandlot cinematic universe. And when our cis friends try to plant the falling bones of us in our yards with the apple cores and avocado pits they got bored of throwing away, they will grow a treehouse of pocket knives, and our ghosts will hold spitting competitions there and laugh themselves stupid long past the hour our mothers expected us home. Thank you.
Okay, is that all? We noticed people probably gave Hollywood lights. Up next is Diya Abbas. Diya Abbas is a first-generation Pakistani poet from the Midwest. They were named the 2022 George B. Hill Poetry Prize winner. Their work is featured or forthcoming in the Offing, Bar Magazine, or BHAR Magazine, Emerge Literary Journal, and Illumination Journal. Diya is currently studying creative writing and South Asian studies at the University of Wisconsin-Madison through the First Wave program. Please welcome Diya.
Hello, everybody. Yes, my name is Diya Abbas. Thank you so much, Foglifter, for bringing us all here today. I think every time that we get to share language with each other, something happens, something changes. If it wasn't for poetry, I don't know where the fuck I'd be right now, so I'm standing here very, very grateful. This poem is a ghazal, which is a traditional Arabic form composed of couplets that end on a repeating word. The word in this poem is Iowa. It tells the story of a mother and daughter, a daughter who is queer, butch, and their immigration story from Pakistan to Iowa. The couplets force proximity between these two untouchable stories. Iowa was where I first began to understand myself and my secrets, so this is part of that story. Wedding season. To settle the bet, my mother spins her old coin. The face of a retired Pakistani man lassos us onto a flight. We land in Iowa. Every field is the palm of her hand, harvest lines and all. The farmers set their prices. She knew how to bargain for that good Iowa sweet seed, holy grain. Prayed so much the wind stopped. The dream does not translate. Home was a girl I wanted to kiss at the Iowa State Fair. I hid from her in another woman's field. Once, we made a life from a graveyard, seeded the shadows in Iowa. I held her hand. She pilled and dragged my body by their stalks. Work is how a foreigner makes home from a strange seed. That Iowa kiss, the yellow light of Arabic verses she blew into my ear. I failed her harvest. Invite her anyway, says Iowa. Tea relaxes our borders. I lay my head on the mudsill of her belly and let Abbas, our porous drum, soak. Together, we belt the final howl for Iowa. This next poem is just a little draft that I'm excited about. Thank you again, Foglifter, for bringing us all here today. Thank you, Rachel, for being my best friend from San Luis to San Francisco, and thank you, Azura, for being my life. The capable knot. What did the stallion first think when we tied a knot to its neck and called her ours? My girl yanks the fabric of my neck, and I, somehow, with her hands, am more mine. When I tie my tie, I am practitioner of my own entrances, silk tongues lacing the railroads of our arteries, the capable knot. The way a train tracks through a mountain pass when it rains, sewing its bodies through an architecture. Thousands of knots. The hands of the couple on the train. The prayer beads holding the prayer. The first knot is our mother's cord. I do not consider the simplicity of a button until it needs to be sewn, until there is no woman around to help me. Now I know it is women who sew the world with the right finger in place. Used to think anyone with a tie could take me away. The uncles in their stiff stitch collars, the immigration officer who hung from his tie off my mother and I's fire escape, threatening to take me from her in the night. Like the many men in my life who claimed power from the aesthetic of being men. Unlike my great-grandmother, a seamstress, I field security out of cloth, patterns, roundabouts, and entrances. As I tie my tie round my neck, I become everything owned, the reins and the wheel, the blood under the muscle that works unkinked and full. The nail that hangs the mirror on the wall for my girl to be vain. My knuckles knots that rail down her legs knots and free the doves from between her thighs. The ties beneath my neck's tie that hold my throat, that tether a body to this voice. Always because a woman demanded and made a fist with her hands. Always because a woman held the knot and became. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Diya. That was nice. Next up, we have Alana Francis-Crow. Alana is a recent graduate of NYU's MFA program. Okay, Her work has previously appeared in Pigeonhole. She is at work on a short story collection and lives in Los Angeles. Please give a warm welcome to Alana Francis-Crow.
Hi, thank you so much to Foglifter for organizing this event and for putting together the issue. This is like the coolest thing I've ever been a part of. And thank you to Strut for hosting this event. I came from LA for this, and I have some friends who came from out of town too, so thank you guys for coming. So I'm going to be reading a short story. It's called The Pussy Eater. It's basically just a pun about eating pussy. Okay. Okay. The rumor was that Nora Chen was a pussy eater. Graciela was the one who proposed the theory. We were all in the locker room, peeling off our swimsuits. Graciela was standing there, facing away from us, blow-drying her long hair. Nora had skipped practice that day. Nora was a slacker, unlike me, who actually cared about winning my races. I just feel like if she really is one, she should change in the bathroom, not in here with the rest of us, Graciela was saying. Little did she know that the pussy eater was me. The first pussy I ever ate was actually Nora Chen's. Nora didn't have friends and had shoulders that looked thick and soft. She seemed like a sturdy person to me. One day when Nora was getting changed, I looked at her wide back and thought about what it would be like to apply sunscreen to her skin, to rub thick, sticky cream in big circles over her shoulder blades. I imagined her flesh starting to melt and drip off of her like hot wax. Eventually, I would just be rubbing the sunscreen into her bones, but she wouldn't mind. I heard someone scream my name. Someone said, "You're bleeding." I hadn't realized I was. There was blood coming out of my nose, and it wasn't just a regular nosebleed. There were like shot glass amounts of blood gushing out of me every few seconds. I had never gotten a nosebleed like that before. Everyone was staring at me except Nora, who was just calmly continuing to change, and that made me hate her somehow. I told everyone I was fine and got in the water for warm-ups, but Coach Sylvie said I had to leave because I was infecting the pool with my bodily fluids. So I just went and sat in the locker room in my damp suit with my arms crossed and toilet paper stuffed up my nose. When practice was over, everyone except Nora came in. Graciela asked if I was okay, and I lied and told her to go ahead because I would catch up with her. She put her body into her A-line dress and left. When Nora finally showed up, all she had to say was, "Coach made me do extra laps since I missed yesterday." That was the most she'd ever said to me, I think. I'm not usually that bold of a person, but I just said, "Whatever." She shrugged. "Don't you even care that I'm bleeding?" I whined. Nora shrugged again, then turned toward her locker, away from me, ignoring me. I walked up to her and pushed her to the ground. She hit her head a little and she fell, I think. I wanted to tell her I was sorry, but I had forgotten how to speak. It couldn't have hurt too bad because she was smiling. I got down on the floor in front of her, in between her knees, and pushed the crotch of her swimsuit to the side. Her pussy looked like a little animal, plump and furry and breathing. I looked at it lovingly. With the tip of my tongue, I touched it. It was cold and tasted like chlorine at first, then like salt. I took her labia between my teeth. I felt her pubic hair on top of my tongue. I bit down and tasted blood. It takes a lot of force biting through raw flesh. Nora made a noise like an animal, so I looked up at her. From my angle, I could see rolls of fat under her chin and a concentrated expression on her face. I took her hand and held it while I kept gnawing at her. Finally, I managed to chew off a solid chunk. I rolled Nora's hairy pussy around my mouth, then chewed it up and swallowed. I wanted to eat more, but decided to save some for next time. God, how I needed there to be a next time. I thought about how my body was already digesting hers, already breaking her down inside of me. I could feel her nutrients entering my bloodstream, penetrating my cells, nourishing me, keeping me alive. The thing is, Nora liked it. She told me so as I was wiping her blood off my face at the back of my hand. The next day, I swam faster than I ever had. Eating Nora's pussy had made me stronger. Eating her pussy had turned me into a new kind of thing. I wasn't a girl anymore. I was something new, a stronger, much thirstier kind of beast. When Graciela was complaining about the pussy eater, everyone shot me sidelong glances because I'd taken nibbles from each and every one of their pussies. Because of them, I'd gone from being a swimmer who was just okay to being the fastest one on the team. Everyone used to be so competitive, but now they didn't even care about losing to me because I provided this service for them. I had a symbiotic relationship with these girls, but I wasn't going to let Graciela get any. She didn't deserve me. I still liked Nora more than everyone else. The truth is, I would have given up winning every single race, given up swimming altogether, just for a chance to be eaten by her. I wondered what I was to her. Though I was too shy to ask, part of me secretly hoped that maybe Graciela was actually right about Nora. That maybe one day, Nora might be interested in eating my pussy and digesting me. What would it feel like? Once my blood and hairs and flesh were inside her body, would they know where they were? Surely they would. Surely they would feel like they were in a warm, safe place for once. A place in which they were comfortable, in which they were held and contained. Thank you.
I'm speechless. Feel free to come up from LA to read for us anytime. Let's give another round of applause for all of our contributors. We're going to take a short 7 to 10 minute stretch break so you all can fill out your surveys, see our folks in the back and pre-order the issue, and then we will come back. And feel free to come and grab a seat at the front if y'all are still standing in the back. We'll be back shortly.